Hi everyone, it's Roger and James here from the What's on Disney Plus podcast. In this episode, we're going to be talking about Disney gaining full control over Hulu. We're going to be talking about all of the information that came out of that Upfront event in New York City. We're going to be talking about the new short circuit series from Disney that's going to be coming to Disney Plus, plus lots of other news and snippets, including a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids reboot, the third series of Star Wars on Disney Plus, and a lot more. But yeah, big busy week of news this week. But before we jump into all the news, let's have a quick look here. So, James, what have you been watching this past week?
Not much I can talk about, actually. Let's see, John Wick 3, Game of Thrones, stuff like that. I didn't actually get a chance to watch very much this week. I was out of town last weekend, and then I've just been super busy with work. So most of my free time has actually just been not doing anything, relaxing, reading. So not much viewing, just those two. I feel like there was another, but no, we'll just stick with those two. I can't think if there was another.
So for me, I watched a couple episodes more of The Hostile Planet from Bear Grylls, the National Geographic one. That series is really cool. There's a couple more episodes I want to watch to finish that one off. Been continuing on with my Star Wars The Clone Wars rampage. I've just now started season 5, so I am working my way through those episodes. Lots of other bits and pieces dropping onto Disney Life, but I want to just kind of get Star Wars done before I start moving on to DuckTales and Big Hero 6, because obviously DuckTales has been back over in the US, but this is the trouble. This is why I want Disney Plus, so we can kind of get this thing sorted of when a television show comes out, we can watch it rather than me having to wait a year till it arrives over here. It's just like it's just a pain, but nevertheless, so that's been my main thing of just a couple of those shows. I think the upcoming week ahead, there's a new series starting soon on National Geographic with it's just gone completely blank, but there's a new scripted drama series that's supposed to be coming out at the end of the month, so that looks pretty cool. But other than that was it. Oh, and I did end up watching For Dark World, but half of it was on the television, and I just flicked over, and next thing I know, like an hour later, I'm still sat there. But yeah, so that's been it. And non-Disney wise, Chernobyl, started watching that yesterday. Very good series, but listen to that.
I'm gonna wait for Chernobyl to finish because I am recording it, but I'm just gonna wait for it to finish because it's only like 5 or 6 episodes. I mean, it's kind of it kind of has a defined beginning and end, so there's only so much I can do. So once all of them are out, I'll probably just binge the whole thing over like a weekend or something like around those ideas.
And that's the thing of streaming and recording is you can all watch things in how we watch. I also plowed through tons of episodes of Marvel's Cloak and Dagger. I think I've got the last episode left. That series was something I kind of started and then just fell away from, and then I had an evening free. So I literally just plowed through like 3 episodes. I forgot I did that as well. So yeah, so literally nearly about ready to finish Cloak and Dagger. So that one's been a slow burn.
I need to remember to watch that. Actually, I've only seen the first 2 episodes, and that was back when they came out. So
so I nearly finished season 2. So nevertheless, but let's move on to the news for the week. So let's start off with the official kind of Disney Plus news. So our official news of the week was that the Disney Animation announced a new series of shorts called Short Circuit Experimental Shorts, which is, well, let's be honest, it's just Pixar's Spark shorts for the other division. And they're going to be releasing 3 shorts next year. So we've got Jung Ho, which is Flower in the Garden. And that comes from the director Jerry Hewen, who was the technical director at Walt Disney Animation Studios. He's worked on lots of movies like Moana and Ralph Breaks the Internet. Just a Thought was made by director Menz, and he's worked on a number of movies such as Bulk, Big Hero 6, etc. And finally, we've got Exchange Student, which is being made by Natalie Nurigat, and it's all about a love of comics, and she's got a particular comic style. They're going to be coming out in spring 2020. And they are going to be, I think they might be shown off at the upcoming ANSI International Animation Festival on June the 14th. So we might find out a few more bits and pieces. Personally, I think this is a fantastic idea. It gives people within the company a chance to experiment. It gets Disney to allow people to practice on a real project. It also helps to give exclusive content to Disney Plus. And I think having this and Spark Shorts, this could be a great way of developing within Disney, and I think this will work really well.
Yeah, I agree. Having this outlet for shorter form, for practice, for getting experience for people who haven't done certain positions before, this is a great program. Plus, we get content. And as we saw with the first batch of Spark Shorts, some of them were really good and some of them were okay. But that's fine because it would only cost us a couple minutes of time. And if it's included with the Disney Plus subscription, which we know it is, then I could see myself just kind of watching them whenever they come out, just because it's not any burden to watch an 8-minute or shorter short film. And I'm very interested to see what they do, because short films is a very restrictive medium to work in. And sometimes when you're in that heavily restricted, you can get some really creative stuff out of it.
Yeah, I just think this is great. I think this is like Disney almost going back to their roots. We always used to have those shorts before the movies. They kind of sort of started pulling away from them. But I feel like they've realized that they need that, because they're always relying on the same hands all the time to make stuff rather than creative new stuff. And also directors are leaving. Things like, I think, was it Brad Bird and stuff, they're leaving Disney and they need new people to replace them. And it makes sense for them to practice a little bit, do this, then maybe do a proper short before the movies, and then go, okay, these people have shown us some stuff, maybe even throw them a few extra shorts or something like that. I think it's great. It's win-win-win as far as I'm concerned. There's nothing, it's just great. I mean, I enjoyed those free Spark Shorts. We've got at least 3 more to come to Disney Plus later this year as well. From that, I just think this is great, and it's a good way of showing us some different kinds of content. It's just great. And also, it's been very apparent, really, hasn't it? Like the last sort of 4 to 6 weeks or the last 5 weeks, really, since Disney Plus was kind of officially revealed, we've had an official announcement every week since it happened.
That's true, and as we've talked about previously, we kind of expect them to keep that pace and actually to pick it up as we get closer to launch, maybe in late August-ish area, where it'll start being multiple big announcements each week, because they want the hype train to not get derailed. They want everyone to remember Disney Plus is coming. There's a whole bunch of stuff coming to it, and there's a lot of reason to be excited for it. Even if the announcement this week isn't for you, the announcement next week might. It follows that philosophy, and they know what they're doing.
So flipping gears now over to sort of a little bit of Star Wars news. Bob Iger was on he was at a special question and answer session just before the Upfront event in New York, and we're going to go through that side of things in whole later on. But this one was something I pulled out. Was he's confirmed there is a 3rd Disney Plus series in development, and he's expecting it to be available before the next movie comes out in 2022. Didn't really go into any much more details about that, but pretty much confirmed it. He also confirmed the team behind Game of Thrones are making the next movie. That's a whole other issue I don't want to get into right now. But yeah, it's just this kind of situation, really. We know that's coming. They know they're taking a break for a few years after Rise of the Skywalker, but they are going to be filling it in with 3 Star Wars series. We're not going to hear much about this for years, because we've still got the Deanna Luger one we know nothing about, and we've not even seen any official footage yet of the Mandalorian. So yeah, this one's going to be a while off before we hear anything about it.
Yeah, and this is kind of a non-announcement, because anybody who's paying attention knows they're probably working on more than 3 Star Wars series. And in fact, they're probably working on like 5 or 6 series that could all potentially be in this 3rd series slot. Like they want to test them, read through them, kind of see who lines up to sign on as actors and directors for them. So yeah, we're not going to get any details until they actually have details. And even if they do have that lined up for this 3rd show, it's 2 or 3 years off, depending on how you want to do the math. There's no reason for them to put details out, which could distract you from The Mandalorian.
Yeah, I mean, this is great for us. I mean, while we were going to have to wait for the next set of movies, we're going to have series to keep us tied over. So that's good news. Obviously we'll know a bit more about that later on. Another kind of rumor, kind of report going around this week was Honey, I Shrunk the Kids sequel / reboot is apparently coming soon and set to star Josh Gad. The thing is, originally this was reported about 18 months ago that it was going to be a Disney Plus exclusive, but apparently it's now going to be coming to cinemas because well, to me it just sounds like they've got enough faith in it and it's kind of moved beyond what it was. There's lots of live action movies scheduled for like 2021 and 2022 that we don't know the official dates for, or we know the dates but no titles. I'm not surprised by this. This one's been rumbling around for a while. Apparently Josh Gad will be playing Nick Lazinski. Try and say that one fast. And I think this sounds good. I think this sounds perfect idea of, and if it's being developed and suddenly it looks like, oh, actually this is becoming a bigger movie, then upgrade it, get it to cinemas. We're seeing this a lot with Disney, of like they're trying out projects and things evolve as they're developing and then make some changes. But ultimately it will still come to Disney Plus. It'll just be a bit later. But ultimately it'll have a bigger budget and it could be a bigger movie with it being a cinema release.
A bigger movie, huh?
Yeah.
I got. Yeah, no, I love this franchise back in the day. We haven't heard much from it since then. It's too bad Rick Moranis won't be involved, but he's retired, so maybe they'll bring back the Honey, I Shrunk the Audience experience, even temporarily. That'd be nice. I don't expect they will, but it'd be nice if they did, even for like a limited run engagement. But we don't have details about this specific one. It could be fun though. Josh Gad is a good actor. He's obviously done a lot of stuff with Disney recently, so he seems to be kind of one of their go-to guys. Whether it comes out on Disney Plus right away or if it hits a theatrical run first, I will definitely watch it on Disney Plus. Theatrical run, we'll kind of wait and see how that shakes out first.
Yeah, I mean, I love that first movie. I kind of like the second one. I don't even remember the third one ever even being released.
There was a third one?
Yeah, Honey, I Shrunk Ourselves. Apparently, I didn't even know that until someone.
I thought that was the second one.
No, it was Honey, I Blew Up the Kid. Was the?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I do know all three of them. Then I don't remember them too well, but I do.
I think there was. I mean, Honey, I Shrunk the Audience was a fantastic experience. I remember that as a kid. That was also me. That between that and Muppets, that kind of set up, like 3D. As far as I was concerned for the rest of my life, was that's how I was expecting 3D to be. And then Avatar came along and went, no, I like being poked in the face with a stick and a dog sneezing on me. That's kind of how that all kind of comes in. But so that looks pretty cool. Okay, so let's looking here. We've got a second series of Amphibia. Disney have announced that's coming, so that's cool. There's a new series coming in. Was it June? A new animated one. That one looks quite good. We also got to see the first look of a new set of shorts based on the Muppet Babies, but it's like they're actual Muppets rather than animated. There's gonna be a load of shorts going on to YouTube channel over the next couple of months. I love the fact that they're actually Muppets rather than cartoons, and they look really cool. And I'm looking at this going, this is so gonna work because this is gonna be so much cheaper to make than an animation.
But for me, the Muppet Babies have always been animated. I grew up with the hand-drawn animation back in the day. I gather the new series, which I haven't seen at all, the newish series, is computer animated. But I'd love to see them in as actual Muppets. Now, I don't know if I'd watch this because the Muppet Babies obviously is skewed for a young audience. But on the other hand, it is the Muppets, and I could see them, going the Pixar route of having jokes for both kids and adults. So that I could actually see trying out like the first episode or the first short of this, just to see where they're going with it.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things of, I think we are going to see a lot of shorts. I think we are going to see things like this on Disney Plus. I think everything that they're putting out on YouTube, I think they will just utilize because kids are just going to keep churning through it. And if you've got no adverts, etc., that's always a good thing. And yeah, this one just looks really cool. So now let's jump into the big news. Really, it was Hulu. Just before the Upfront event in New York, they announced that they have now got full control over Hulu. They've agreed to a deal with Comcast. So I'm going to read that bit out now because that will kind of give us an idea of what's going on. So they've announced they've gone into Disney have now got a full control, and it's worth noting it's control. They've not purchased it yet because that's now effective immediately, and they've entered into a put/call agreement with Comcast for their 33% stake. Under this agreement, as of early of January 2024, Comcast can require Disney to buy NBC Universal's interest in Hulu, and Disney can require NBC Universal to sell that interest to Disney for its fair market value at the future time. Hulu's fair market value will be assessed by independent experts, but Disney has guaranteed a sale price for Comcast that represents a total equity value of $27.5 billion. Comcast and Disney have agreed to fund Hulu's recent purchase of AT&T's interest, but Comcast will have no obligation to fund its proportional share of future capitals and will dilute its effects if not to fund them. Basically, what that means is, up till now, Comcast has been chipping in each year to help to pay towards Hulu. They're not going to be doing that anymore, but as they do that, I think that then pulls down how much ownership they own. Basically, they're no longer putting any more money into it. So that will go down to as low as 21% by the time the 2024 comes around. In agreement to this, Hulu has extended its license with NBC contract till at least late 2024, and Hulu will be out on its Infinity X1 platform. NBC Universal can terminate most of its contract agreements with Hulu in 3 years' time, and in 1 year's time, NBC Universal will have the right to exhibit its own content service with currently licenses. Basically, what that means is, in a year's time, NBC Universal Comcast can use all of their stuff on their own streaming platform, but Hulu is still going to have it for a few more years. That's pretty much it. And the reason for this is, well, Bob Iger was talking in that interview as well. The idea really of Hulu is going to be moved over to the BAM technology, which is what Disney Plus and ESPN work on. That's all going to be happening soon. They then can start offering bundles because they're all going to be on one internal system. They're going to be having one login. So you have your one login, and you can have that for one login for ESPN Plus, Disney Plus, and Hulu. They can offer bundles. They can offer discounts. You have the same billing account. They're basically going to bundle all of this into one platform, and the Hulu sort of agreement essentially means now this is all going to be in place before Disney Plus launches. You can see it coming. They've been planning for this for a while, but this is the stage being set for Hulu, Disney Plus, and ESPN as a triple package that you can mix and match. It also means that generally Disney Plus will be a full-on add-on to Hulu. But yeah, big news really. Basically, Disney have now got full control over their direct-to-consumer industry.
Yeah, we all knew it was pretty much going to happen one way or another. There was no reason for Comcast to hold on to it, and no reason for Disney to not want the entire thing. I think the only confusing part is why they spread it out so much. But I'm sure that's all legalese, finance guys, trying to make it the best possible deal for their particular side, whether it's Comcast or Disney. It would have been nice if it was just a straight sale, like this percentage is now Disney's, but there's a lot going both ways. So hopefully both companies are happy with it, and consumers should be happy because, as you said, it will allow Disney to have that single sign-on between all the different platforms, and you can spin them up or spin them down however you want. Get a Hulu subscription for a month, watch whatever it is off you want from Hulu, and then transfer your subscription over to Disney or ESPN, or maintain all three. Who knows?
I mean, I think you're definitely going to see like Disney Plus pushed as a premium add-on for Hulu subscribers, because they've got 30 million subscribers. That's a big push to get them out there. That stuff's going to be on their front and center to do it. You're seeing a really kind of Disney have kind of got this idea of, rather than having one system, they're going to have this multiple tiers, but the price that you can jump in. There's a standing joke now. There's lots of streaming services. Disney are pricing them like $6.99, $7.99 because they want to have multiple ones. Because essentially now, if you look at it, if you get the full bundle, you're gonna be paying about the same as Netflix, but you're gonna have 3 different packages, one combined system. Yeah, I think this is essentially trying to fix the problem. Yeah, again, I thought it was just gonna be a straight buyout. The only thing for Comcast is as Hulu gets more popular, and if the value goes up in it, it does mean that they could make more money in the long run. If it goes up, if the share value goes up, but obviously theirs comes down. But there must be a lot of issues. Bob Iger did say in that interview that the problem they had with Comcast being one of the partners was international, because he even confirmed it was like Sky in the UK. He said they wouldn't want competition to themselves because of Now TV, and that opens it all up. It basically opens the door now that they can do where they were, because at the end of the day, Comcast also had the other problem of if they didn't do something, Disney could end up not necessarily sabotage, but the system's not going to go in the right direction because they have to keep voting and nothing's happening. And in the end, the whole system just kind of crumbles because nothing's happening properly. Now they've got full control. They don't own, Comcast has got no interference at all in it. And I think you are going to see some changes on Hulu. I know up till now, Hulu's generally been that thing for everybody. We don't know what's going to happen with the Fox content eventually. They might end up signing different deals, but you are going to see a big change. The whole industry is going to go through a massive shift in the next 2 years. We saw that at the Upfront with Warner Brothers and CBS, and everyone has been putting out their thing about these stream things. I mean, even Conan O'Brien was like joking about Warner Brothers being your 7th streaming service, and it was just like there's a lot changing, and a lot of things are happening, and everything is just, and Hulu's just is at a good point for Disney to push forward.
Yeah, but they do have to be careful because as you're saying, everyone's launching a streaming service, and you're going to have 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah.
Well, at a certain point, consumers go, no, I'm just not going to have any streaming services because you made it too complicated, and I'm just going to go to a torrent site and download them that way, or whatever the current piracy way is. And that's something that Disney has to be aware of, because now they have the 3 services, and that by itself could be like, no, I'm not going to do 3 services. I'm just going to do this the illegal way. Hopefully not. I mean, hopefully people go, I don't really need ESPN. I'm not a sports ball kind of guy, so I can do Hulu and Disney Plus, or I only need Disney Plus because it's for the kids, that kind of thing. But yeah, they have to be very careful. And as the market continues to expand, NBC getting their own app, CBS has an app, everybody has an app. Consumers end up in the same situation where they are now, which is too many options means not wanting to do any of the options.
Yeah, I mean, I still wonder if in a few years' time they will take a look and go like, is this triple tier system working, or not they merge everything into one and have one solid, just one platform. Personally, I think that's probably the better way to go, of having the one platform to have everything within it. But they've obviously got a plan. They're trying to go with smaller bundles but cheaper rather than having a big bundle. They're all fighting it out at the minute. Comcast is doing a thing where they're going to be having traditional adverts. I think Warner Media is going to be like HBO Max or something. They're going to kind of, everyone is shifting and turning around. Even only recently this week as well, it looks like CBS are trying to buy Stars. There's all kinds of stuff going on, lots of reshuffling, and the days of everyone just going, well, it's on Netflix. That's and you can see Netflix are really kind of pushing forward because all they're getting stories over this is going, and it's like, yeah, that's going to be the big core test. But Hulu now is under control of Disney. We are going to see some more integrations, and I think you're going to see a very strong partnership between the 3. And I think Hulu and Disney Plus are going to kind of be, they're going to kind of be almost like siblings of kind of how the internet, and it also allows them a lot more freedom to move stuff around, because say like Runaways and Cloak and Dagger and things like that, they can turn around and go, yeah, we can share it, and it can go both ways. Because, for example, this week The Simpsons was announced that that's going to be coming to Freeform on the channel, and they're sharing it that way. So Family Guy is already. You're going to start seeing stuff shared around depending on what they want and how, and it makes life a lot easier because suddenly any exclusive deals that Comcast could have said, no, you can't do that because you've signed an agreement to us. That all disappears with now Hulu having. And I do wonder if that's why we didn't hear as much from them at that Investors Day, and some stuff was not shown was because until this was sorted, they couldn't show that.
Yeah, and there's probably still stuff they can't show, not necessarily from this exchange, but we know there's a lot of issues with regions and what can be shown where and under what contract conditions. So it wouldn't surprise me. This is probably the biggest news, obviously, other than the Investor Day itself, because getting the Hulu sorted out is a big step. But it would not surprise me if maybe once a month, give or take, we'll hear something along the same lines of this, just probably more regional based. Like Germany, they'll come up with an agreement with however the distribution works there, where they're like, okay, now we can announce that we do have the distribution rights for this stuff, and it will be in the German launcher.
I mean, I suspect I wouldn't be at all surprised if, like, for the UK, if we got Hulu maybe next year, because all the big Sky contract is all coming up to an end, and even watching like Now TV and stuff, they are starting to push for some reason their own content on the sci-fi and the Universal shows rather than the ABC shows, which makes a lot of sense. But yeah, so we're going to see a lot of integration with Hulu, and I think we'll start seeing a little bit more content sharing, helping boost up Disney Plus. Because one thing I did notice, someone pointed out in one of the YouTube videos, was that at the very bottom of one of the screens in that original video, this was a month ago, they could see Agent Carter. The Agent Carter was shown off. So things like that, and are going to, there will be some shows that can spread across both platforms. And I think just having the one login, I think that's going to be a very key, strong thing for people. If you're on Hulu and you got all those members, and suddenly you see this big Disney Plus, subscribe here, get it, and you bundle it in, and it's going to cost you couple of bucks extra, it's really going to boost up subscribers.
Well, it's not even that. It's just a lot of people don't like signing up for things on the internet. It's a hassle. You're always worried about, are you going to get more spam from this? Are they going to sell your information? But if it's an account you already have, say either your Disney account, you just shop.disney.com, stuff like that, and then all of a sudden that account lets you log into Hulu as well. That's one less account you have to worry about, and you already know what the situation with is that, and then you can link it with Disney Plus or ESPN, and it just makes life a lot easier, not just in like terms of what you have to remember of what your logins are, but not having to worry about where that information is going as much. I mean, you still have to worry about it because all of these companies are selling your data, but at least it's only one company selling.
Big thing actually was one of the things they were talking about, Bob Iger, was data. They are this whole thing about Hulu and Disney Plus of collecting data, and they want to start seeing of what people are consuming. And there's lots of talking about, trying to get Star Wars news to Star Wars fans about, maybe people watching the Star Wars shows will want to go to Galaxy's Edge, or there's new toys, or there's new merchandise, or he was talking about like discounts and stuff. They are looking at using this information that you're watching. Now, whether or not it comes through an email or through something else, but they are going to be collecting your data. And this is one of the things they're very key on, is having their own internal system means that they can monitor what you're doing. It's scary when you're looking at it, but at the same time, if Bob Iger saw what my, all the adverts and stuff, to go, yeah, to be honest, all I ever see are adverts for Disney. So it goes up quickly. So it knows straight away, it's like, I looked up the Hong Kong Disneyland park tickets, and suddenly my adverts go flooded with Hong Kong Disney. It's how it works. And, that's just going to be the way they're going to be monitoring it. But they're very much aware that data is a key aspect of
I mean, I've got a couple thoughts on that. First, Disney has been collecting your data for years. I mean, you can feel however you want about that. It's perfectly valid to feel like I don't want anyone to have my data, and also perfectly valid to be like, whatever. It's not like I have anything particularly worrying in that data. I mean, you should always protect your data. That's just bottom line. But if you're going to be involved with any of this, Netflix, Disney, even just going to the Disney parks.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as we love the Magic Bands for instance, if you're down at Disney World or one of those parks, those bands track you everywhere. And Disney knows everything that you're doing in the park. They know which lines you're waiting in. They know which rides you've walked past. Maybe you've gone past the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. You've looked at it. You've pondered for a second. Oh, yeah, I'm not waiting 45 minutes for this or whatever the wait time is. And they track all that data. The important thing to remember about that is they're not really concerned about you. They're not concerned about me. They're concerned about trends.
Yeah.
What do 1,000 customers do? Do we have when Seven Dwarfs gets up to an hour or more, does the number of people who look at it and then turn away increase by a certain amount, and so on? And then they track all the data from Shop Disney and what you do in the stores. What do you buy? What do you look at? All that fun stuff, which is honestly terrifying. How much data they can get just from you walking around the park or downtown Disney. Yeah, it's very dystopian. Yeah. I don't even know if dystopic's a word, but I think you know what I mean. And the same thing's going to happen with Disney Plus and Hulu. And again, the saving grace here is they don't care about you. They don't want your specific data. They want the trends. And the only reason they want your data is so they can show you proper ads, which is completely automated anyway.
The thing is, all it ever does is it shows us, whereas we all think we're individuals, we are just one big mass herd moving around. You see anything like that, and that's generally how it is. They're looking to see where the herd is going rather than us as individuals. But it is slightly scary in some ways. But at the end of the day, sometimes this can help. It can help the consumer. It helps bring down, what they're offering and all the rest of it. They're going to look at the stats, and if loads of people are watching the brand new series of the Muppet Babies, and they go, okay, we need to make more of this. If they're going, nobody's watching it, or it's not catching with the right, it's only working for small kids. It's not out. It can work the other way. The shows can be made or break by depending on what how the data looks.
Yeah, it's just an extremely boring dystopia. That's what it comes down to.
Just numbers in a clog. So that kind of the Hulu side of things, we are going to see a little bit more integration, I think. And obviously, the fact that Hulu is going to be moved into the BAM technology of the suites. I don't know when they're going to do that, but I would guess they've been working on this for a while because they knew what they were doing. But I wouldn't be at all surprised if that happens before Disney Plus launches. But nevertheless, let's move on now back onto some television. The Upfront event took place in New York City this week. And at this event, it was the first time ever they've kind of integrated entire brands all into one show. They had ABC, ABC News, they had National Geographic, they had ESPN, they had Freeform, and they had FX. There was suddenly Disney Channel and Disney Channel Junior got pushed off to the side. They weren't included in this for some reason. I don't know if they're holding that back for a later event, or they just realized that, hey, this was too much stuff and they don't want to focus on the Disney Channel bits and pieces, which was a shame. I'll be honest, I sat through the whole 2-hour event hoping for some news, and it was very much along the line that this was business as usual, Disney showing off all they've got, but they were showing this purely for advertisers. This was about trying to get advertisers to spend money to put the adverts on those television channels, on the television networks. That's what it was. The concept of streaming, they made a few jokes about it, especially Jimmy Kimmel did, but this was very much along the lines of, yeah, we know the streaming stuff's happening, but we still need your money. Here's some TV shows that we're making, lots of stuff coming, but they were not focused on streaming, even though Kevin Mayer, who was the chairman, came out and started the show. The reason for this is, why they were a big part of it, is Disney moved all of their advertising networks together into the one company within the international bit, because they've now set up the companies of the content side for the television, the content side for the movies, and now the direct-to-consumer international department basically is in charge of selling it. They do the adverts, they do Disney Plus, they're doing Hulu. They are in charge of selling the stuff. So they've brought it all together into one place, and that's all it was for. But there wasn't anything. There was one mention of Disney Plus at the beginning, one mention of Hulu, and then it was purely just staple going because they know that the ad, as far as it was a show for advertisers, and Disney Plus doesn't have any, so it wasn't really going to be a major key aspect to it.
Yeah, and like you said, they didn't really talk about the Disney stuff so much. It was the new toys, and I think that's really what the point of it was. The advertisers already know what to expect from Disney, the Disney channels, the one that carry the name. But there was this question in the air: what's going to happen to the Fox properties? What's going to happen, particularly to stuff like FX, which is generally very mature content? And I think that was the point of the entire exercise, to go, no, business as usual. It's still us, but we're not gonna. FX is not gonna suddenly turn into Disney Junior 2 or something like that. So
yeah, I mean, the CEO even confirmed and said, we aren't going to be on Disney Plus. Our stuff's not for Disney Plus. It's not a good fit. I think it's very much along the lines of them going, FX is one of their big things. They're really pushing that. They want the Emmy Award-winning TV shows. They want to push that as the adult content. I think it's going to be a big, strong push for Hulu. Disney have got in the idea now that they want Fox for something different than what they were doing before. They want that adult content because they lost it. And yeah, this very much was showing along the lines of, I mean, when they had this like sizzle reel starting off with Sons of Anarchy in there with Agents of Shit, it was just like really weird, and they were swearing it. There's this kind of thing of like going, this is for the adults. This is the adult entertainment. They know what they're doing. They know they've got different audiences, and that was very strong. I mean, there was very much a pushover of what they were doing. Freeform were there. They were talking. They still seem to be very much pushing on their website of having, how much content is being streamed, how much is being watched online. Like their audience is much younger in like streaming, which I thought was quite surprising. Obviously, with Hulu and Disney Plus going, they're still pushing that idea that they've got their own little website and they're doing bits and pieces. I'm sitting there going, yeah, I can't see that surviving much longer. FX confirmed that Simpsons World will be closing, which has all of the episodes of The Simpsons in the US. That will be closing down for Disney Plus. I think that's going to be the start of the sweep of streaming platforms that Disney own are starting to cut things down.
Yeah, this one's not really that big a surprise. Having The Simpsons on Disney Plus is not a selling point if they're also available for free on another website. Now, granted, I had forgotten that website even existed in the first place. However, I'm also not a hardcore fan of The Simpsons. I love some of the older seasons back when it was still new, but I haven't actively watched The Simpsons in 20 years, give or take. So I'm not really the target audience for that site. But yes, the people who do go to that site to watch The Simpsons, they definitely want them migrating over to Disney Plus. So this is any other site that is like that, or any of these channel-specific apps like FX, I think, has its own app and stuff. They're all going to kind of float away.
I mean, they're very much kind of talking about like the adverts and stuff, funding them and kind of carrying on, and audiences using them. And I do wonder whether or not they might continue, but they might have a severely lack of content. It might only be literally like a week or two's worth of television, because they're going to want to start pushing Hulu and Disney Plus. And so very much with that, so there wasn't a huge amount of content really kind of flowing through. The National Geographic was the big difference, because that was the one brand you're looking at and going, you are one of the core 5 brands. They announced loads of stuff there. They never mentioned Disney Plus, and National Geographic still haven't really started that whole thing coming through, and Disney Channel are doing the same thing. None of their press releases or anything they're saying are saying it's coming to Disney Plus as well. None of that is filtered across anything on Disney yet, and I think that's all because they haven't really announced the details. But let me just run through now some of this National Geographic stuff that they announced, because I'm going to be honest, I think all of this is going to end up, and there's some things here that were already confirmed. So first off, we have got Brain Games is returning, an 8-part series coming in December. New host coming to it. They've already confirmed that Brain Games is coming. so the previous episodes. So if they've already said it's coming, this new series makes sense. I'll be honest, I didn't know the presenter. I didn't have a clue who he was. Then we've got Race to the Center of the Earth, an 8-part series coming in summer 2020, where there's an adrenaline-fueled global competition to try and win $1 million, made by the same team that made Amazing Race. I love these kind of shows. There was one on BBC recently. I used to love watching The Amazing Race. So that's great. Summer 2020. You know that by this time Disney Plus will have sorted out what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope so. And if they haven't, there might be bigger problems. But
yeah, so then we went on to there's an 8-part series starting in April called Trafficked with Maria Van Zella, which is all about the dangerous inner workings of a global underworld smuggling black market. This is where things get a little different. Of like, is this more Hulu? But they're gonna, as long as it's not too, it's not got too much swearing and stuff in, they still can do these more hard-hitting TV shows, and it was especially sell better to adults. Lost Cities with Albert Lin coming in October. So that one he's going to be going around doing scanning of locations and doing on-the-ground archaeological digs and stuff like that. So that definitely sounds interesting. Gordon Ramsay's Uncharted. The first season is going to be coming in July 2019, with 8 additional episodes coming in summer 2020. They have already confirmed that Gordon Ramsay's Uncharted is coming to Disney Plus. That was confirmed last month. Running Wild with Bear Grylls, a 10-part series starting in fall 2019. I did put up a little video on our YouTube channel with Brie Larson. That's moving over to National Geographic. That also was confirmed last month to be coming to Disney Plus. Some new scripted series. Genius with Aretha. It was all about Aretha Franklin. Interesting with Aretha, with the last 2 things, they didn't show them off on the Investor Day, but hopefully things like this. But I don't know whether or not they view them a little bit too edgy because they are TV-14, but more of a drama series. There's a new 5-part series coming in January called China's Hidden Kingdoms. I did put up a new trailer for that sneak peek on the YouTube channel yesterday. So that's all about like animals in China, so leopards, pandas, monkeys, etc. Alaska Live is coming in 2020, and that follows on from Yellowstone Live and Earth Live. Earth Live has already been confirmed to be on Disney Plus, so it makes sense for them to do that as well. We're also going to have Explore Finding Amelia coming in fall 2019. Hell on Earth Mexico, which is a 1-hour documentary all about the rise of that's been, again, this one's a little bit more tricky. I don't know whether or not that one might fall on there or not. And in terms of a returning series, Life Below Zero is going to be coming in October, 19 episodes. Again, Life Below Zero was confirmed for Disney Plus. Drain the Oceans, 10-part series coming in March 2020. That was also confirmed to be part of Disney Plus. Wicked Tuna, 15 episodes in March 2020, and another spin-off series called Wicked Tuna Outer Banks, 13 episodes coming in July 2020. Again, Wicked Tuna was confirmed to be part of Disney Plus. This was a thing of like last month's event really helped kind of go, okay, a load of these TV shows have already been confirmed, so these new episodes you're going to be like, well, yeah, definitely going to be part of it. But lots of new series there. No mention of Disney Plus in the official press release, but like I said, that seems to be a growing kind of thing of they're not really going down that line at the minute. They're still showing off, but these movie shows are coming out way into next year. Lots of interesting stuff there.
Yeah, almost too much to parse, really, but there's definitely stuff in that list that is interesting to me, and there's stuff in that list that I'm going like, I'm glad it's there. That's the important part. It's not for me. I mean, this seems to be the refrain every single week, but it's not for me, but it's for somebody, and I'm glad that it's there for them. Having said that, I think there was more here than I was expecting for me to be like, oh yeah, I would totally watch that.
This is, and the thing is as well, if this is what you're going to start seeing, is Discovery are launching their own streaming service, surprisingly. So if National Geographic and At the minute, they're still pushing everyone to their own app and their own things because that makes sense. But you're going to see them go, well, that is, if you want National Geographic, you've got to come here. And that's the selling point. It's one of the core brands. They've already said everything flowing through those brands will eventually end up there. So it makes sense. And yeah, I mean, lots of new stuff there. The Bear Grylls show, that looks good. The China documentary, I'm loving I love what I've seen so far of that. You know, the Genius stuff, I've not seen any of them before, but this is the whole key point. National Geographic is one of the core brands. We are going to see lots more of it. It's not all about Marvel and Star Wars. This is a whole section that they can really offer some different kind of content, and it's going to really boost it up.
Yeah, every bit of content that they can add, almost no matter what it is. I didn't add that small qualifier of almost. Raises the profile of Disney Plus, because there's somebody out there who's going, oh, I really wish there was another Gordon Ramsay show for me to watch, and like, hey, look what we got over here.
I like Gordon Ramsay's last. He did a series over here in the UK, but where they were off driving around in a caravan. It was really funny. But I've been a big fan of Gordon Ramsay shows since for a long time. So I'll certainly be interested in watching that. But they haven't really gone down the line yet of saying how Disney Plus is going to work with like television, how it's going to work with television. So say, for example, running Wild with Bear, is it going to work like Hulu where the following day it becomes on Disney Plus and that's the on-demand system? Or is it going to be months later and they go, oh, now it's available? We don't yet know. They haven't confirmed any of this. But like I said, that list of new stuff they showed, half of it, they've already said those series and all the back episodes are coming to Disney Plus. So it was a lot easier to kind of go, okay, that's very much more simpler. But it also means that drops for new content onto Disney Plus should help with all this content just drip feeding in. And I think that's a core element. You don't want to, I mean, compared like to Disney Life where we can go a week without something, you know, this is going to be a lot more of a drip feed effect.
Yeah, and again, this is the common refrain. They want the news to be spread out because you don't want to release The Mandalorian on the first day of Disney Plus. Everyone watches, or everyone who's interested in it watches everything they've got available, and then they're like, it stays static. There's nothing new here for me, and then they unsubscribe. Keeping the subscription requires that constant feed of information. Now, it might not be the major things like Falcon and Winter Soldier, Loki, the second Star Wars stuff, but having that stuff constantly being in there, constantly having people go, ooh, I want to watch that. It keeps people subscribed, and that's the end result, of course. I mean, the result they hope for. Yeah. My brain is not working at the moment.
See, for me, I'm really kind of loving the idea that the National Geographic stuff is in there because it feels like that's where, as an adult subscriber, this stuff is going to be much more interesting to me to keep me entertained. I'm much more likely to sit there and watch a documentary about, something like that, then I'm probably going to sit there and watch the newest episode of the Muppet Babies on Disney Junior. That's just me as an adult, but they need to apply to everyone. And this is the key thing. I mean, there was a stat that Jimmy Kimmel made the joke about the fact of, parents, do you want to look after your kid, or do you want to pay $7.99 for Disney Plus to look at? And it was just that kind of thing of like, they are looking at this of being for the kids and stuff. But National Geographic is going to be a core part of it, and I'm really interested in this stuff. I've been a big fan of many of their shows for years, and love this kind of documentary stuff. And the trouble is, especially like over here, National Geographic have got a real weird system with their on-demand stuff. Of like on Now TV, you only get the Nat Geo stuff for 2 weeks before it disappears. None of the official stuff is on often the main channel, is because they've been keeping everything for themselves. And I think that's why National Geographic is a lot easier for Disney to work out, because there's a few shows like One Strange Rock or something is on Netflix. I noticed that was on there the other day. Generally, they didn't sign a lot of deals, so a lot of their content is already free for them to do what they want with.
Right. And Well, that makes it easy, I guess. So.
Yeah, it's just going to make it easier. But that's enough from the Upfront event. There was lots of information. I'll be honest, that was a long 2-hour show, and yeah, it was. I was sitting there going, "Yeah, are we going to get to anything?" I was waiting for the Disney Channel stuff, and that didn't happen. And it's like, okay, the National Geographic stuff was busy then, and going, and the ESPN section. Oh my! I was like, "Come on, get moving!" It's like making all these jokes, and half the audience are just like, "Yeah, we've got no idea what you're talking about." But lots of interesting things going on there. So, last bit for today, the Maleficent trailer, the Maleficent Mistress of Evil trailer broke earlier this week. Got to see it. I've watched it a couple of times. I was never really a big fan of the first movie, but yeah, I don't know. What did you think of it?
Not an incredible amount, honestly. I saw the first movie at some point. I barely remember any of it, but it was okay for what it was. And I did appreciate that it was a different view on the story. It wasn't like the Beauty and the Beast live action where it was just a remake of the movie. Angelina Jolie works really well as the character. She was solid in it. I don't think it needed a sequel. And there's nothing in the trailer. And granted, it's a trailer. It's a minute and a half or whatever the length is. But there was nothing in the trailer that made me go, oh, I should really reconsider there being a sequel for this. I don't know. I'll probably wait until we see more, maybe see some reviews on it. But this is probably another movie where I'll just be like, I'm going to wait for it to be on Disney Plus because I can't see myself going to the theaters for it.
No, I don't watch it and I go, it's like, stop trying to make Maleficent like the good guy. It's like, let's make her the bad one. You know, it's like, it's Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. Just make her the villain. You know, they're then still trying to set up like the Queen and King as kind of there's something going on there. And from her point, it's like, no, just make her the bad one. Stop trying to, you know, you can't. I don't know. I watched it a couple of times and then going, yeah, I just didn't. It just didn't bite me. I'm just there going. This is again. I'm like, yeah. I don't know if I will go. I might. I mean, the fact that it's out in the winter, I've got more time to go see it. But yeah, again, this is like, I think how many people will be like, yeah, I'll just wait.
Yeah, and it would be another thing if there was like a concentrated effort across Disney media to soften up the character of Maleficent, not have her be the bad guy. But she is the bad guy in everything else. And it's not questioned. It is like she is basically the top of the bad guy pyramid at Disney. Like she's the villain of Fantasmic. She's the villain of Kingdom Hearts. Well, she's the Disney villain of Kingdom Hearts. She's the villain in everything that she is, except for this. And I think you can't have it both ways. You can't have the series where she's the gray area. Oh, I understand her point of view, even if I don't agree with what's going on. And then also be like, no, she cackles and yells things like, I will see you in the depths of Hades or something like that. It's like, no, you don't get both.
No, it's going to be a thing. One interesting thing again from that interview with Bob Iger, he talked about the home video release schedule, and he said they still want cinema releases, but he is expecting the home video thing to get shorter. He also said that things might come to Disney Plus earlier because of whether or not a movie coming to it earlier will bring more subscribers. So at the minute, we know like some movies are about 8 months, but he said it might be done on a title by title basis of whether or not of how it works. And I am instantly drawn to this thing with Maleficent too, of just kind of thinking, this is the kind of movie that would do them better to push it out quicker. This is the kind of movie where if they could get it onto Disney Plus within 4 to 5 months, they would generate more buzz and more subscribers than on home video and at the cinema, because this is still all right at the box office. But something like Endgame makes sense to stretch out because they know they're going to make money on the DVD, and they're going to. Whereas something like Maleficent, I don't think that it would be beneficial for them. And the fact that he was talking about how they are going to be shifting around and it's going to be a title by title basis means to me that something like Maleficent 2 could be on there quicker because they'll want to use it as a booster for Disney Plus.
Right. You get whatever money you can out of the box office release, even if it ends up being a flop.
Yeah.
You still get buzz around it.
Yeah.
And then being able to put it on Disney Plus is an advertising point. We've got Maleficent 2. We have Maleficent 1 right here. You can watch them back to back, and you can enjoy them. And even if it ends up flopping at the box office, and I would not be terribly surprised if it did, you can make some of that back with Disney Plus and people maintaining their subscription because, oh yeah, it's Maleficent 2. I'll watch that while I wait for the next episode of whatever show I'm waiting on.
So they were, he was very open about the fact of, the upswing in subscribers. And it's going to start getting to that point of where the upswing in subscribers from a new movie coming onto the platform is higher than the DVD sales and the home video sales of that, because they're dropping week on week. The fact that they are talking about this, I think the release date schedules is going to be very fluid, lots of movement, and the fact that he's saying, it'll be a case by case basis. But yeah, they'll see where they can get their money from. And flicking through Netflix last night trying to find something to watch, we were going through screen after screen. I'm just turning around, it's like just random movie names and stuff, and you just go, I don't know what this is. I don't know what that is. And then flicking through Disney Life last night, there is that kind of thing of like every movie comes up. It's got like that's a big movie. That's a big movie. That's a big movie. And that is one of the key things. This is a big key thing of quality over quantity. 100 Netflix series of which you don't know anything of, and then suddenly 10 Marvel movies coming up underneath. There's such a different thing visually in your head of what you're getting.
Although that does bring up the point, they do need to make sure that they keep it quality. They don't want to just release stuff on Disney Plus to be like, hey, it's Little Mermaid 4, guys. The Little Mermaid, it's Ariel. She's still 16, and nothing's happened. But the same problem that they had in the late 90s, early 2000s with all the direct-to-video. They need to make sure that if they're going to pitch this Disney Plus as a quality service, as you want to watch these shows, you want to watch these movies, well, they have to be things that you want to watch, and they have to live up to whatever your expectations are. So Maleficent 2, you have expectations on that. You have different expectations for a live action Lady and the Tramp movie. You have different expectations for Noel, the Christmas movie that's coming out later this year, strictly on Disney Plus, not going to theaters at all. But as long as they can maintain at least the average quality, and not everything's going to be a hit no matter who you are, but as long as they can maintain the average quality, they'll do fine.
Yeah. So there we go. That kind of wraps up this week's episode. So thank you very much for joining us. Make sure you go subscribe on the YouTube channel and subscribe on the audio platforms as well, like iTunes, etc. Feel free to do so there and share the word that we're out there. You can go check us out on the website. So if you follow us on Facebook or Twitter to keep up with our latest things, we do have a Facebook group as well. Though at the minute there's a little bit of an issue going on with Facebook. So I just want to make everyone, when you request, I'm just waiting a couple of days until everything blows down before we're letting everybody in. Just wanted to let everyone know. If you realize why I've not let anybody in for a while, because basically there's a whole issue going on with thousands of Facebook groups, so I won't go into it here. But nevertheless, thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back next week with another episode. James, where can they find you?
Find me heroiclegacy.com.
And on that, guys, thank you very much. See you guys soon. Later.